When Christiana High School hosted Conrad Schools of Science and football in September, the scene was a microcosm of the state of affairs in Christina School District. Christiana had just 25 players, less than half a typical team. And in the home stands, only about 50 people cheered for the Vikings. Conrad's team was twice as big and had a couple of hundred rooters. Conrad rolled over Christiana 34-0. The lopsided score serves as a metaphor for the exodus of Christina students to charter schools in other districts. 38%, most in the state by far.
We definitely have capacity in our buildings, and we have the space to be in 2 high schools and not 3 based on our current student populations. There's conversations that have been simmering for a long time now about that issue.
Each year there's more empty seats. The problem is worst at its 3 high schools, Christiana, Glasgow, and Newark. Together they are at less than half capacity. Enrollment is so low you could close Christiana, send its 722 students to the 2 other schools, and still have 1,050 empty desks. Tricia Stallings, whose son is a Christiana freshman, was stunned by its emptiness. Before they moved to the district, he was headed to Colonial's William Penn, which has nearly 2,100 kids.
When we brought him here to Christiana, I figured, okay, well, it's about the same amount, but then it was like, it's only 700 students. Oh, okay, that's a huge difference.
The flight from Christina does have policymakers talking about shuttering buildings. They're aging and cost millions of dollars a year to maintain. Officials recently began a capacity analysis.
If you don't have students, because in Delaware the money follows the student, if you don't have enough students in the school, you don't have enough money to offer that type of programmatic diversity. If the capacity analysis yielded that we could offer better program for our kids, then I think closure would be something that we could or should look at.
Shoe Middle School teacher Mike Kempsky hates seeing classrooms empty and repairs unaddressed.
We lose somebody every year. Some position goes away, and you contract, and you just seem to be on this downward spiral of contracting instead of expanding.
Governor John Carney recently toured Bancroft Elementary and Byard Middle Schools with new Superintendent Richard Gregg. Both schools are barely 30% full.
The Christiana Board and administration will obviously have to make some hard decisions. Nobody likes to close schools, but you don't want to have buildings that are half full, and that's a real challenge for us.
Gregg, a Glasgow grad who took over Christina in April, would not speak with WHYY on camera. Instead, his spokeswoman issued a statement saying Gregg, quote, considers underutilized buildings a challenge. Officials denied WHYY's informal request for an estimate, as well as our formal Freedom of Information request, for the cost in 2016 to maintain Christiana High, including custodial staff, utilities, and upkeep. They wrote, quote, there are no reports that provide the information you request. Young said taxpayers should be concerned about maintaining half-empty schools.
The costs, I would say, are prohibitive. I would say certainly close to at least $1 million or more per school.
So where do the 8,700 students who opted out of the Christina district go to school? Nearly 2/3 go to charter schools, a trend that keeps rising.
They're going towards something that works for their kid. Some kids don't do well in those big comprehensive high schools. They thrive in a smaller, more family-like setting.
The biggest recipient of Christina students, with 2,200, is 2-time National Blue Ribbon winner Newark Charter. Several other charters have hundreds of Christina kids. 5 are in Wilmington, Coomba, Edison, Great Oaks, Eastside, and Freer. Others include Odyssey, Charter of Newcastle, MOT Charter, Las Americas Aspira, Academy Antonio Alonso, and Delaware Design Lab. 1,800 Christina students also attend Newcastle County's vocational technical schools. About 1,400 choice into another district, mostly to red clay schools such as Conrad, Cab Calloway School of the Arts, and A.I. DuPont High School and Middle School. 2 other red clay affiliated schools, Wilmington Charter and Delaware Military Academy, also have plenty.
Perception is always a key in our business education. I think one thing we've been able to do with 7 high schools, which are all themed, gives our residents a great option to what's best for their daughter or son.
Dissatisfaction led Tara Ann Williams to send her daughter to Freer Charter.
There's a lack of discipline within the schools with some of the kids, and it causes the kids that are really there for their education to take a step back and not want to be involved.
At a Friere open house, Williams and her child had positive interactions with faculty members.
We liked the way they answered, and last year she excelled. She blew up. She had honor roll all 4 marking periods. She captain of her cheerleading team.
Another reason cited for the exodus is that Christina has had several superintendents in recent years and didn't embrace the charter movement.
That discontinuous leadership really, I think, contributed to us not having a consistent message or the ability to react as nimbly as we needed to.
Young and others are cognizant that taxpayers foot the hefty bill to maintain half-empty schools.
Doing a capacity analysis is the first step in being able to make decisions that are informed and not decisions that are based on maybe just a momentary trend.
If they are that under capacity in their schools, they should consider closing one of those schools.
Christina is trying to bring back kids.
We're working hard on putting programs in place at the schools that would hopefully attract students to want to stay so that we wouldn't have this excess capacity.
Some say the district should capitalize on its respected music curriculum to start an art school like Cab Calloway. But should these strategies fail, the fate of schools with proud legacies could hang in the balance.
I can tell you if you tried to close Glasgow, I'm an alumni of Glasgow, I'd be very upset. My husband, who went to Christiana High School, would not like to see his building sold or razed, and my daughter, who graduated from Newark. There are people who say, you can't close Newark, it's Newark. So I'm really glad that there's that amount of school pride amongst our high schools to know that that's going to be a battle. That's a good battle. That's a good problem to have.